Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the KetoMom page. I have a question for you. The question is, what would it take for you to reach your goals? We're actually going to sit on that question for a long time in like every video. I'm going to go over what we're going through in the book, but my husband came home yesterday from a trip and he was listening to a podcast, and I'll have to have him come on and share the story. But he basically said, people know what to do. Like, you can listen to a podcast, you can read books. The point of working on your mindset is so that when you come up against something, you have the tools to get through it, or to get over it, or to fix it, right? So everybody has their own environment, their own families, their own circumstances, their own past, their own goals. So when somebody gives you a solution, you want to talk? I was talking about so I was saying, when somebody gives you a solution, I give you a solution based on what I see. I give you a solution based on the things I've learned, the things I've listened to, the things that make sense logically to me, but I actually am not in your home or at your workspace, or I'm not with you all day long. I don't know the things that you go through, but you do. So if you simply sat back today and you asked yourself this question, what would it take for me to reach my goals? So that's the thought for today. We're starting in chapter 5, and it says how to think and dream creatively. How to think and dream creatively. So there's a couple thoughts I'm going to give you, and then you're going to implement them today. Or my hope is to give you something to think about. So as you're tuning in, I hope you're having a great morning. Oh, here's a fun question. Who celebrates St. Patrick's Day? We don't really do anything for St. Patrick's Day. Well, no, we really don't. Okay, who celebrates St. Patrick's Day? Tell me below if you do anything fun. I know what something fun that I'm going to do. I'm probably going to grab myself something. If this shows up later, this is probably how I'm going to celebrate. Well, I will later. Drinking myself some creamy mint protein after my CrossFit workout. That is going to be my celebration. All right, here's a couple thoughts for you today. Creative thinking is simply finding new, improved ways to do anything. So this book is walking us through what success can look like for you in any area of your life. A lot of it has to do with mindset. So he's going to give you a couple steps. He says, I want you to believe that it can be done. He says, here's the basic truth. To do anything, we must first believe it can be done. Believe something can be done sets the mind in motion to find a way for it to be done. So I have another question. I'm going to keep asking questions. If you answer, I love to see your comments below. Do any of you still remember the goals you set in January? Whether you call them resolutions, or maybe you've been going after the same goal over and over again. Maybe you find yourself going around the same mountain every single year, and maybe you haven't reached them. It's time to get creative. It's time to go, okay, what I have been doing isn't working, or there's certain things that keep me stumbling. How can I get creative to change my environment, change my pattern, create some new habits? What do you need to do? And only you know that. If you answered the question, what would it take for me to reach my goals? My hope is something popped into your mind. If you could share below, that would be awesome. Like, what is one thing that it would take? What is one thing it takes for you to reach your goal? That if you're like, if I never went through this drive-through, I for surely would reach my goals. If I got all the junk food out of my house, what is it? Do you have an answer? All right, we are going to continue on. Of course, he tells us a ton of stories. I'm just giving you the very basic highlights of the chapter. He says, when you believe, your mind finds a way of how to do it. Believe something can be done, paves the way for creative solutions. He's really talking about how there's There's a traditional mindset and there's a creative mindset. And oftentimes he says you think that the only people that are creative that are in the space of writing or film, or he says there's creativity everywhere you look. He gives a whole bunch of examples of, I don't know where they went. I'll find them as I come along. But he goes, you have to be creative to find a solution. If you decide or believe that you can, your brain will start finding a solution. So, what are your goals? If you haven't visited them in a while and you're here to work on your mindset, maybe you have a goal of becoming more positive, or to stop being so negative, or to have a better attitude. Whatever the case may be, once you believe that you can achieve it, your mind is going to start finding a way to figure out how to achieve that goal. All right, he says, you can find ways to like a person if you believe that you can. You can discover solutions in personal problems if you believe that you can. You can find a way to purchase that new large home if you believe that you can. Belief releases creative powers. Disbelief puts the brakes on them. Believe and you will start thinking constructively. Your mind will create a way if you allow it. It's all in your mindset. We talk about it every morning. The words that you speak, do you believe that you can or do you believe that you can't? And either way, you're right. Believe it can be done. Number 1, he says, eliminate the word impossible from thinking and speaking. Do not say it. There's no impossible. Impossible is a failure word. The thought of it's impossible sets off a chain of reactions of other thoughts that prove that you are right. Number 2, think of something special that you've been wanting to do, but felt that you couldn't. Now, make a list of reasons why you can do it, and many of us whip and defeat any desire simply because we concentrate on why we can't do it versus why we can. You're like, oh, jeepers, just tell me how to eat. Listen, I can give you the basic overview of all of the do's and don'ts in a keto low-carb lifestyle. And like I said in the beginning, I don't know the things that you do on a daily basis that might be not great habits, or might be out of emotion, or might be out of lots of different things. I don't see your environment. I don't see how you run your life, how you run your morning. So the question is, what would it take for you to reach those goals? A couple more things for the morning. He says there's traditional thinkers. The traditional thinker's mind is paralyzed. His reasoning is, it's always been that way for hundreds of years. Therefore, it must be good, it must work, so let's keep it that way. Average people have always resented programs and progress. Many voiced a protest towards the automobile on the grounds that nature meant for us to walk or ride a horse. The airplane seemed too drastic for many. Man says, it's not our right to be in the air. That's for the birds. So do you want to be a traditional thinker or a creative thinker? And any goal that you want to go after requires you to believe that you can, take out some negative verbiage or mindset, and then your mind will start being creative to go, how can I find a solution? How can I reach these results? Self-discipline. Yes, Angie. So this book is here to help you. It's here to guide you, to give you some ideas. I think that's probably all I'm going to go through for the day. How can you do better? There's so many stories in this book. At first, I was honestly feeling like, oh my goodness, this book is a little bit harder than I thought. I talked about this yesterday. Harder to share, but just very briefly picking out just a couple things. It's a great book. It's a great book. And if you want to read the stories, you'll have to grab the book. But really, the point is, are you thinking big? Are you thinking small? Are you believing that you can do it? Do you believe that you can't do it? The words that come out of your mouth, the things that you speak are super important. And it's time to get creative. You know, if you sit back and stop having everybody else tell you, you know what you need to do to get to where you want to go. It just requires, like Angie said, discipline. It requires creative thinking. It requires probably eliminating some things in your home or your environment or in your daily routines and making a better daily routine or better habits, or surrounding yourself with different people, taking a different path to work. There's different creative solutions to get you to where you want to go. So, the thought for the day today, as you're going through your day is, what would it take for me to reach my goal? I asked you below what your goals were. That's all I have for you this morning. So I'm going to watch. I'll come on and I'd love to read your thoughts. If you have any questions, you can ask below. As always, this page is there's lots of different things. So continue to tune in for different recipes, tips and tricks and ideas to help you on your journey, knowing that you can take some of them and implement them. But also, you've got to be creative with your own life. I don't want to say your life, your own daily routine. So take what you've learned, take action on it, and also understand that everybody's a little different. So you need to figure out what works best for you. And you have to implement it. So I hope you have an incredible morning, an incredible day. Happy St. Patrick's Day for those who celebrate. And that's it. You can send me a message with any questions you have, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great morning.